Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're asking the question, was the heresy actually Chaos's biggest mistake? No real need for a spoiler warning today, but just keep in mind we will be referencing events from across the Warhammer 40k universe. So you have been warned, and with that said, let's waste no time and just jump straight in. Okay, so one of the inescapable themes of the moment is the Emperor's apparent ascension to godhood. How now, after 10,000 years, he is actively moving against Chaos, and with him literally burning down the Garden of Nurgle, or at least a portion of it, you have to feel that the Emperor is arguably a bigger threat to the gods of Chaos now than he's ever been before. And so that leads to today's question. Was the heresy actually a mistake by the ruinous powers? Have they given themselves a bigger problem? Well, there was obviously a reason why the ruinous powers attempted to instigate the heresy in the first place. Why they scattered the Primarchs through the Perpetual Order. Because the Emperor was a very big problem. For his entire life he had been dedicated to their destruction, safeguarding humanity. And now he was taking the fight across the stars. If the Emperor was allowed to conquer the galaxy, unify mankind, well then Chaos would lose a huge source of their power and influence. And if he had been able to sever mankind's reliance on the warp, claim the webway, it would have been the ruinous powers' death sentence. And though the ruinous powers may not have known the full scope or detail of the Emperor's plan, it was clear to them that they had to act. They had to at least do something to stop his march against them, to prevent him taking the material galaxy away from them. And so from that perspective, of course they had to stop him. And stop him they did. Regardless of the personal views of the heresy and its outcome, the Emperor's dream was crushed. The possible golden age of humanity ended. Primarchs were killed, claimed by Chaos. The Legion shattered, and the Emperor imprisoned upon the throne. The grim dark ushered in. How could we even contemplate this being anything but a good outcome for Chaos? Well, it undoubtedly was good. Great even. But was it enough? As though bound to the Golden Throne, those silenced for 10,000 years, forced to push back the tides of their power for every waking moment ever since, the Emperor survived. And through the change the Imperium underwent without him, the Emperor became worshipped as a god himself, leading to the point we are at now, 10,000 years later, where he is able to fight the gods within their own realm. The Garden of Nurgle was burned. The Garden of Nurgle, the very home of the god of decay. Guilliman was restored and purged of the most lethal plague of Nurgle ever, one that could kill a Primarch. And Nurgle quite clearly didn't fancy his chances when the Emperor was there taunting him, remaining hidden away within his mansion. And so, in a way, it's Chaos's own actions that have led them to this point. If the heresy never transpired, we would never have the God Emperor of mankind. Humanity would have remained locked within his imperial truth, that there are no gods, that reason and science should prevail. So it is kind of a no-win, catch-22 situation for the gods of Chaos. Don't instigate the heresy, but the Emperor gets to possibly unite all of mankind and conquer the webway, safeguarding mankind away from you. Or do, but inadvertently give rise to the God Emperor, an even more powerful foe, and face the very real prospect of defeat. When you put it like that, you almost could view the heresy as a mistake. That yes, it was a good result, but just not good enough. That the Emperor had to die with that roll of the dice. Any outcome less was a failure, no matter what. Because for all the greatness of the Primarchs, Malcador, the Legions, and then Chapters, it all really comes down to one man, the Emperor. He is everything. With him there is hope. Without him there is defeat. And again, for all the tragedy of the heresy, the grim darkness that was ushered in, he survived. The heresy, as much as it didn't feel like it, was won. At this point, you can't say it was a mistake for the gods, because they haven't truly suffered as a result. In fact, they've greatly benefited. But there is now the very real prospect of the Emperor being even more powerful, and their defeat is a reality. So, if not a mistake, I think we can say it was a failure. Again, it doesn't feel like it. The Primarchs were torn apart and turned against their father, against each other. Some were claimed and enslaved by the ruinous powers themselves. The Angel Sanguinius was slain. The Emperor's invaluable advisor Malcador too, gone. But the Emperor survived. So it failed. It fundamentally failed. Maybe in the long run that failure could be upgraded to mistake. If the Emperor is truly able to bring his fight to their doorstep, to even eliminate one of the Pantheon, it has the prospect to be a mistake. It's verging on it already, it has to be said. But as we said, they had to do something. They had to act. And shattering the Primarchs, essentially removing them from the Emperor's side of the board, was a big benefit and success. The Emperor with the Primarchs by his side was unstoppable, and chaos took them from him. Some of them at least. The problem they have now is the ones remaining are coming back, and that's coinciding perfectly with the Emperor's assault against them. It's in fact, as we've mentioned before, the exact thing the Emperor began working towards within the depths of the heresy. One possible route to still achieving victory. So although no, we can't say the heresy was a mistake, I think we absolutely can say Chaos's inability to follow up that success was a potentially catastrophic mistake. Sure, Guilliman led the scouring, pursued the traitor legions into the jail of the Eye, but the Primarchs were soon gone, and Chaos had the advantage. The perfect time to act. It's taken them 10,000 years to do anything of meaning, thanks to Abaddon. But unfortunately for them, it could be too late, as the Emperor's sons are returning, and he is moving once again. He has another plan in motion. So, no, the heresy can't be labelled a mistake, at least not yet, but it did fail. And their mistake for me was in its aftermath, in not capitalising on it. As ever with the gods of chaos, their own nature acting against them. The great game was their critical mistake. Rather than push on, give everything they had to ending the Imperium, they turned against each other. But I guess the question now is, will it cost them in the end? But as always everyone, what do you think? Do you feel in a strange way instigating the heresy has actually come back to bite the Chaos Gods in the rear? and so it must be labelled a mistake. Is it in fact their biggest mistake? Or like me, can you see it as an ultimate failure, but not a mistake? That it has the potential to be one, but only if the Emperor wins. Should the Chaos Gods have followed up the heresy more meaningfully? Or as ever with the Gods of Chaos, did they simply descend to fighting their own great game? Was the time after the Scouring the real time for Chaos to apply the pressure? And even though Abaddon has now cleaved the galaxy in two, has it come too late? With the loyal Primarchs returning and the Emperor awakening, has the golden opportunity for the gods to win gone by? As always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.